Boy, howdy. We covered the update that is coming, well, today by the time you see this video, on yesterday's video, and there's so much that we did have to split it up into two different videos for you guys. In this one, we're talking about all the new legendary items and the balance changes to see how your class was impacted. I have not read this yet as of the time of me recording this video, and I'm going to go over which classes I think are have the most exciting new legendary items. I usually give you guys my top three, but let's jump straight into it. All right, so Barbarian. Headpiece. Ground Stomp also grants you a shield for 3 seconds that absorbs damage. Cannot gain a shield that is this way more often than once every 3 seconds. Okay, so I like the clarification that you can gain a shield outside of this, but it has to be, this way once every 3 seconds. All right, so legs. Ground Stomp now conjures an ancestor to stomp for you, damaging enemies and knocking them airborne. If an enemy was already affected by knockback, the effect is increased and additional damage is dealt. Wow. So if you knock them up again, it's like, oh, this is almost like a combo. Okay, this is interesting. So that's Ground Stomp for the head and legs. Offhand. Hammer of the Ancients now drops a giant hammer at your location, damaging all nearby enemies. Enemies affected by knockback are immediately forced to the ground. Dang. Dealt additional damage and stunned. Whoa. Okay, so wait. Now you have Ground Stomp that's popping people up, and now you can use Hammer of the Ancients to pop them back down. Oh my CC. Main hand. Hammer of the Ancients also causes enemy to deal 10% reduced damage for 3 seconds. My brother in Christ. So you're going to literally whoopsie daisy make them do less damage. Okay. Sunder also increases your attack speed by 5% for 2 seconds when hitting an enemy up to maximum of 20%. Meh. Okay. Shoulders. Sunder is now channeled, causing you to continuously jump forward, slamming the ground to damage nearby enemies, knocking them airborne, and shattering their armor. Hitting an enemy restores energy and reduces damage taken. Jesus. All right, so basically, we're going to have a bunch of barbs running around, jumping around, going doof, 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 jumping, popping you up, dealing more damage, popping up again, and then bringing you back down. Dude, that's gonna be that actually sounds fun as hell. All right, wowzers, whoopsie, that actually does sound really cool. Blood Knight. Main hand. So Whirling Strike now empowers you, causing each primary attack to launch an arc of blood that damages enemies and makes them bleed. Critical hits will cause arcs of blood to spin and damage all nearby enemies. Okay, so some AoE damage, which is good. Offhand. Ravage has a 15% chance to hit to conjure a shadow that also attacks with Ravage. Okay. Whirling Strike also shatters enemy armor, increasing the damage they take from you by 5% for 2 seconds. Interesting, it clarifies you. Interesting, it'll be if it's just you or your whole team, because it does very specifically call out you. Up to a maximum of 15%. All right, so Spear Fury for the legs. Flurry now causes you to dash, dealing damage to enemies along your path and applying a mark that triggers life drain when a marked enemy is damaged. Cooldown is refreshed if the dash hits a bleeding enemy. Oh, wow. Okay. Mythic Cloud now releases a cloud that increases your movement speed, attack speed, and damage each time you inflict bleed. Okay. Mythic Cloud also increases your evasion rating by 12% while standing in it. All right. Not exciting. I mean, some good probably additions to different builds I've either seen or have made for the Blood Knight, but nothing that's getting me super excited on that one. And so far, the Barbarian is pretty sick. Crusader, which is the class that I am on currently. Death Chime Shoulder. So Sacred Chain no longer attacks enemies and instead links you and your nearby allies, causing some of the damage they take to transfer to you. Okay, so very much supportive Crusader build here. Chess Piece, Conjuration of Light, now conjures a large barrier of light that marks allies directly behind the barrier, immune to any damage from enemies in front of the barrier. Okay, so basically you make a big wall and people behind it are immune to any damage from enemies on the other side of it. Okay. Legs, Shield Charge now charges to a target location, damaging and knocking back enemies along your path, granting you damage reduction. If allies are along your path, both you and your allies are granted increased damage reduction. All right, Shield Charge now charges to a target location, damaging and knocking back enemies, granting you damage reduction. Okay. This item will also provide immunity to knockback and total loss of control during the dash, but the tooltip text will be missing this. The tooltip will be updated in a future patch to reflect this. This is a good dev note. Good job, devs. All right, what else do we have here? Offhand, Holy Banner also increases your allies' damage by 4% for each ally within the banner, up to a maximum of 16%. We'll have to do some. Oh, it's an offhand too. Dang. dude, you could put this one with the one that goes in the headpiece, and I'm really curious to see if it stacks. Oh man, that it would be some insane raid damage for PvE. Holy cow. Punish also shatters enemy armor, increasing the damage taken by 4% for 1.5 seconds, up to a maximum of 12%. Wow, that's actually crazy too. Oh, okay, another headpiece for Holy Banner. Holy Banner now grants increased critical hit chance to nearby allies, damage reduction to you. Both effects increases when more allies are present. All right, damn. All right, so again, not fun specifically for the Crusader, but really, really good in different aspects of the game. Again, we're measuring on what I would get most excited about. So far, it's still the Barbarian, and then the Crusader's above the Blood Knight. Demon Hunter. Blood of the Saw, headpiece. Vengeance also causes you to deal more damage to enemies the farther they are from you, up to a maximum of 16%. Oh, were you about to see a sniper Demon Hunter? Ding! Shoulders. Multi-shot damage is increased by 3% per yard you are from an enemy, up to a maximum of 24%. Okay, we're seeing a sniper Demon Hunter. Knockback shot damage is increased by 3% for every yard you are away. Okay, up to 24. When Vengeance deals damage, enemies more than 5 yards from you are dealt additional damage. Cannot occur more often than once every 0.7 seconds to the same enemy. Dang. Multi-shot now empowers you, during which each skill used will additionally fire a salvo of arrows that damages enemies. Okay, that was the main hand. Chest piece. Vengeance now fires a piercing shot and roots you in place for its duration and can be used again to aim and fire piercing shots that damage, knockback, and slow enemies. All right, this turns Vengeance into a bit of like a... This is a sniper Vengeance. Okay, so yeah, Vengeance is quite literally... Yeah, so the legs, head, and chest turn Vengeance into a literal sniper rifle, because this is... Also, it causes you to deal more damage to enemies the farther they are away from you, up to 16%. Okay. And then the legs were, when Vengeance deals damage, enemies more than 5 yards in front of you, they deal additional damage. Once every 0.7 seconds, essentially. But it does lock you in place. Interesting. All right, so that one is so interesting to me. I think there's definitely a place for that in the meta. Oh my God, that sounds so cool. Okay, I still think that I'm gonna go Barb and then Demon Hunter so far. So rank 1 is Barb, rank 2 is Demon Hunter. Let's go to the Druid. Ooh, this will be interesting. All right, Druid main hand. Rabid Might also increases you and your allies' critical hit chance by 8% for 2 seconds. Okay, Shoulders, Circle of Life also increases you and your allies' at primary attack speed for 10 seconds. Okay. Chest, Circle of Life now creates an area that follows you. An area that follows you, granting increased damage to you and your allies. Okay. So between the chest and the shoulders, this is going to increase your attack speed and your straight up damage for you and your allies. All right. Oak Sage also triggers an explosion every 3 attacks, dealing additional damage to nearby enemies. Okay. And then Rapid Might now targets you or an ally, increasing your maximum life while also damaging nearby enemies and knocking them airborne. If an ally is targeted, it also casts on you. Okay. So keep that in mind with the headpiece, which is also increasing you and your allies' critical hit chance. This is very much a buff Druid. All right. So offhand, we covered that one all right? Yeah. All right. So Summon Oak Sage now targets you or an ally to summon Oak Sages that follow. Automatically attack whenever a primary attack is used. If an ally is targeted, both of you gain Oak Sages. Again, this is just a buff Druid. It doesn't excite me, but I'm going to put it on 3. So we have the we have the Crusader, Demon Hunter, Druid. All right, now onto the Monk. All right, so Mystic Strike also, this is a shoulder piece, causes your next primary attacks within 3 seconds to trigger a lightning explosion, dealing additional damage to nearby enemies and inflicting shock for 2 seconds. The lightning explosion can only be triggered once every 3 seconds. All right. Offhand, Fist of Thunder also applies a lightning mark for 3 seconds when it hits an enemy. Damaging a marked enemy 3 times will consume the mark and cause them to take additional lightning damage, increasing movement speed by 40% and granting immune to loss of control and knockback effects for 1 second. Cannot apply it once every 6 seconds. Head Shields in also increase your primary attack damage by 15%. Wow. Main hand. When the first strike of Fist of Thunder hits, primary attack damage is increased by 50% for 1 second. Cannot occur more often than once every 6 seconds. Okay. But only when the... Okay, whatever. Chest. Flying Dragon now empowers you, causing your next few damaging primary attacks to conjure thunder wyrens, whatever, that seek out nearby enemies to deal additional lightning damage. Okay. And then legs, Mystic Strike now makes you untargetable as you dash forward, empowering your next primary attack that hits an enemy to conjure 2 spirits that also attack the enemy. Dude. All right. I'm not saying it sounds fun, but it sounds busted good. All right. I think I'm going to go Barb, Demon Hunter, Monk. Okay. Now on to the Necro. We have 3 more classes. Main hand. Borrow Time now empowers you or an ally, significantly increasing the damage dealt, but also increases damage taken. If life is reduced to 0 while empowered, immediately heal to full life and gain a curse that continuously drains life until dead. Kill an enemy removes the curse. All right, so now you can cast it on someone else. That's actually kind of cool. Chest. Bone Spirits also reduce enemy attack and movement speed by 15% for 3 seconds when it deals damage. When Borrow Time is active, killing an enemy will heal 10% of your maximum life and increase your movement speed by 20% for 3 seconds. All right. Wraith Form now transforms you into an untargetable Wraith. They keep making these busted. Wraith Form now transforms you into an untargetable Wraith that dashes forward, damaging enemies in your path. Brothers. Necro always has some busted ass Wraith Form. That's just so good. All right, while Borrowing Time is active, enemies that damage you will be marked for vengeance, increasing the damage you deal to them by 20 seconds for 3 seconds. By 20% for 3 seconds. Bone Spirits now causes you to teleport to a target location after casting Delay, conjuring a swarm of spirits when you arrive that continuously damage nearby enemies. That's wild. The only thing I don't like about this is like all the Borrowed Time ones, like maybe you don't use all of them at the same time, but like it doesn't feel good using a skill that basically works when you're dead. So I don't love that, but I do like the Bone Spirits teleport. Sounds interesting, and then the Wraith Form just sounds busted again. All right, I'm staying with the same rank, so I got Barb, Demon Hunter, and what'd I say? Monk, which is crazy. All right, let's go to Tempest and then Wizard. So Tempest, Wave Edge knocks an enemy airborne every 3 hits. Okay? It cannot occur to the same enemy player more than once every 4 seconds. Wave Edge. Interesting. That's the main hand. Chest, Tidal Rush also increase your primary attack speed by 20% for 2 seconds. Pretty straightforward. Shoulders, Storm Fury now empowers you and your Zephyrs, during which your primary attacks stack wind marks when dealing damage. Marked enemies will take additional damage after multiple stacks. Pretty straightforward. Again, offhand. Wave Edge increases your primary attack speed by 5% for 3 seconds when it deals damage up to a maximum of 15%. So we're getting a pretty interesting Wave Edge build, which is like a kind of a ranged attack. Interesting. Legs. Tidal Rush now conjures several Zephyrs around you. Huh. Okay. And it also increases your primary attack speed by 20% for 2 seconds. Wonder what the cooldown is, though. Tidal Rush, same skill, also increases your and your Zephyr's primary attack damage by 15% for 2 seconds. All right, so Tidal Rush will now, if you equipped everything together, will now increase your primary attack speed by 20%, deal 15% more damage, and summon several, quote unquote, several Zephyrs. And then you can basically use your Wave Edge to increase your primary attack speed up to 15%. And it makes people airborne if you use all of it. Okay, definitely different. Same top 3, though. Is this zoomed in? Yep. Damn, that's crazy. All right, let me go one more, though. Boop. This is good. All right, so Wizard, main hand. After using a skill, your next Electrocute cast within 2 seconds will trigger an electric explosion, dealing damage to nearby enemies. Cannot trigger more often than once every 1 second. Okay, offhand. Black Hole now empowers you, during which dash skills launch a small black hole at the nearest enemy that detonates, damaging all nearby enemies and pulling them in. Okay. Chest. Lightning Nova now causes you to dash forward in a ball of lightning. The dash now, interesting. Okay. So the dashes together between the chest and the offhand are going to be interesting. Okay. Legs. You deal 5% increased damage for 2 seconds to enemies hit by a disintegrate, up to a maximum of 15%. So I'm assuming we're about to get a disintegrate one at some point. Head, you deal 5%. increase damage for 2 seconds to enemies hit by black hole up to 15%. Okay. So every dash will now have black holes that go out and attack a small black hole, but then will increase your damage by 15%. I'm sorry, by 5% up to 15%. All right, now this is the Disintegrate. Disintegrate now empowers you, during which dash skills create a lightning rift in your wake that continuously damage enemies. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a movement thing, right? So now you can basically dash with Lightning Nova chest, which drag enemies with you and inflict shock, but then also you can have a black hole that goes with you and a Disintegrate that follows you as well that does damage. It sounds like it could be good. I'm just very interested to see what the cooldowns are. Are one of these a headpiece? Yeah, one of them's a headpiece. Yeah, I mean, if the cooldowns are too high, like this is gonna be really, really, really bad. Like really bad. But if it's low, there's some potential here. Like if it's a really, really low cooldown and you can dash a lot, because you're not immune, right? You're not untargetable or immune to anything while you're dashing. So it leads me to think that you should probably be able to dash a lot, or at least create a build that allows you to dash a lot. Sounds fun. All right, so I'm gonna rank this Barb first, because the knock up to knock back and everything just sounds so much fun. So Barb gets first place. Then we're gonna do Demon Hunter for the sniper build, which is insane, and then Wizard, which you probably saw coming because I love the Wizard. New balance changes. These balance changes will go into effect everywhere across Diablo Immortal. Demon Hunter, nimble, daring swing, animation speed increased by 29%. Druid, Raven Swarm, the number of ravens conjured via attacks no longer has an internal cooldown per attack. Instead, you conjure 3 ravens per skill and 1 raven per primary attack, but you are limited to conjuring up to 7 ravens per second. The blind effects have been removed. Oh, damn, nerfed. All right. Mangle for the Warbear. If one of the attacks in the Mangle sequence hits, you now gain 6% damage reduction for the remainder of the attack sequence, which, okay, makes sense. Crush Warbear, you now gain control and knockback immunity for 2 seconds when you activate Crush. All right. Monk, Cyclone Strike damage increased by 24%. Damn, 24%. Inner Sanctuary baseline, not just a certain essence, but just baseline. Add a new effect where standing in your Inner Sanctuary reduces critical hit damage you take by 10%, stacking per second you remain in the area up to 40%. That's going to be really good too. Necro. And again, some of these are very specific essences unless I call out that it's a baseline change. So Corpse Lance. Lance now applies stacking marks that cause the enemy to take an additional 100% base damage upon reaching 3 stacks. Okay. Rolling Surf. Primary attack animation speed is now 15% faster. Wizard. Disintegrate with the Searing Judgment. Damage increased by 12.5%. Ice Crystal baseline. Refraction beam damage increased by 21%. Dang. Ice Crystal got a 21% buff, boys. Definitely not going to complain about that. Ice Crystal was like the thing to play when you played Wizard for a long, long time, until either it got nerfed, which it did, or we got more essences, which now we have essences again that look sick. So let me know what you think about all these new essences. I think they're actually really fun. Again, I am currently on the Crusader and will be on it until I fully grind it out. And yeah, looking forward to it. Let me know which class you think is the most fun. Again, my top 3 would be Barbarian, Demon Hunter, and Wizard. Although I'm not going to lie, I really want to try the Demon Hunter. So unless something changes between now and whenever I max out all my essences for the Crusader, I'm really looking at that Demon Hunter sniper build. That sounds hella fun. Anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. Hope to see you guys in the video soon, and have fun with the new update.